Before smartphones trapped everyone inside glowing screens, the night belonged to us. We were the kind of kids who rode bikes until the streetlights flickered on, the kind who believed darkness was just another adventure waiting to happen. The park down the block was our territory. A baseball field, rusted bleachers, tall trees wrapping around three sides, and an old twisting metal slide that groaned whenever the wind passed through it. No houses faced it directly. No one to complain about noise. It felt hidden, safe. We were wrong. I was 13 the first time something happened. It was a Saturday night. Pizza boxes, laughter, and Tony's mom yelling at us to either quiet down or leave. So we left. Me, Tony, and Rob grabbed our bikes and rode to the park. The air felt cooler at night, cleaner somehow. The world seemed bigger in the dark. We climbed onto the playground structure, our usual hangout spot, talking about nothing important. Then Tony froze. "Shh, did you hear that?" We stopped. A dull metallic thud echoed somewhere beneath us. We looked around. Empty. Probably just the structure settling, we told ourselves. A few minutes passed. Then it happened again. But this time it wasn't a thud. It was a voice. Small, soft, coming from inside the metal slide. "Hello!" Every muscle in my body tightened. We had been alone there for nearly half an hour. No footsteps. No sound of anyone climbing up. I forced myself to step closer. "Is someone in there?" I asked. "Hello!" it repeated. It sounded like a toddler. "A little boy." I swallowed. "Do you need help?" Silence. Trying to prove I wasn't scared, I climbed into the slide and let myself drop, expecting to collide with a trapped child. But when I reached the bottom, it was empty. We searched everywhere under the playground, behind the bleachers, even into the tree line. No child, no parent, no one. Then the voice came again, clearer, closer. "Catch me." We didn't speak. We ran. We pedaled like something was chasing us. When we reached my backyard, we collapsed against the fence, whispering over each other, trying to explain what had just happened. That's when we heard it. A knock on the backyard gate. We froze. "Who is it?" I called out. A woman's voice answered, calm and almost cheerful. "Hello. Were you boys just at the park?" Our stomachs dropped. Slowly I stepped toward the wooden gate. There was a thin crack where the wood panels met. I looked through. A middle-aged woman stood inches away. She was already looking directly at me through the crack, smiling. Not a normal smile. It was wide and unblinking, like she had practiced it. I stepped back immediately. "No," I said. "Are you sure?" she asked softly. Tony jumped in. "Yeah, we weren't." "Okay," she replied. But she didn't leave. When I looked again, she was still there, still smiling, still staring. We ran inside and locked the doors. None of us dared step outside again that night. We told ourselves it was coincidence. We tried to forget. Years passed. I grew up and moved into an apartment not far from that same park. One night in 2018, after a late shift, I decided to walk through it to clear my head. It was quiet, too quiet. That's when I saw him. A man sitting alone on a bench with his hood pulled up, not moving. As I passed, I felt his eyes on me. Then I heard footsteps behind me. When I slowed down, they slowed. When I sped up, they matched me. I turned onto a darker side path. He stood up and followed. When I broke into a jog, he did too. My heart pounded so hard I could barely breathe. I ran for the street exit. When I reached the lights and finally looked back, he was standing at the edge of the trees, not chasing, not leaving, just watching the same way the woman had. I should have stayed away, but a few weeks later, friends convinced me to meet at another section of the park called The Loop, a cul-de-sac surrounded by thick woods. It was around 11 p.m. we noticed cars parked with their headlights off. Then a truck started moving without its lights. It made a slow U-turn toward us. We hid behind trees. The truck passed, then circled back. That's when my friend stupidly lit a Roman candle, and sparks exploded into the air. The truck's headlights snapped on and it drove straight at us. We ran into the woods. The truck jumped the curb and followed across the grass. Two men jumped out with flashlights. We heard shouting, branches snapping. One of my friends later swore he saw one of them holding a knife. More headlights turned on around the loop. It felt organized, like we had interrupted something we were never meant to see. We hid flat against the dirt for nearly 15 minutes before the truck finally drove away. But we never saw the men leave the woods. I never went back after that. But sometimes when I drive past that park, I see something standing at the tree line. Sometimes I hear faint footsteps behind me when I walk at night. Sometimes I think about the child's voice in the slide whispering, "Catch me!" Sometimes I think about the woman at the gate, the hooded man, the truck, and I can't shake the feeling that none of them were separate incidents. It always felt like one presence living just inside the trees, watching, waiting, and maybe still playing the same game. Because even now, years later, when everything is quiet, I still feel like the park was never empty, and maybe it never will be.